All right, so we're just going to talk about some general things right now. So if you're in Excel, I like to, in 2013, go to this auto hide ribbon that kind of gives me a full screen of everything. And I've also made sure that on my draft dashboard tab on the view, I have formula bar headings and grid lines unselected. And then I come back over here, auto hide ribbon, and now I have a nice full screen. Right now I'm using a very nice monitor that's like a 25 incher, so I'm able to fit everything on my screen. But if that's not an option for you and you're working on a smaller screen, you can kind of zoom out to get more things into a view that makes sense for you. So you can do that as well. Another thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is when you're using the Control W to select a player, right? You can't use undo, which is Control Z after you do that, based upon what's called a macro that's making that happen. But if you put in the wrong player, you simply will go up and let's just put in some more to make this a little more easy to understand. So let's say that like with the 5th pick, I put in DeAndre Hopkins. It's really David Johnson. No sweat. You just come in DeAndre Hopkins, highlight his name, hit delete, come back over, see he pops back in, David Johnson, Control W, you're all set. Some other things to remember would be on the player info tab. I know I've harped on this a lot, but always sorting this with selected ADP, smallest to largest, and then tier, smallest to largest. Let's say that you want to have like a couple different configurations of the file, maybe with different tier information, or maybe you're setting up for specific keepers or trades in a specific league. No, that's simple. You would just go up after you've done what you wanted. You would just go to File, Save As, and you'd go to somewhere in your computer, and you'll just save it maybe as FFDraftPrep, and you'll put in your date. So maybe it's 5/21, or you just want to save that as your default configuration. I would always do that. And then when I'm actually in a draft, what I'll do too is before the draft, I'll save a version of the file. And as I'm going along in the draft, I'll continually be hitting Control S to save that particular draft. That way, if something weird happens with your computer, it starts to freeze or whatnot, you can close out and you can go right back into that file and pick up where you left off. So that's one thing that I like to do. So it's good to save yourself a base template of the file that you're going to use, configured with your tiers, and if it's specific settings for a league, have that configured. You start your draft as it's going along, you save as you go. That way, maybe if you have a problem, your internet connection cuts out, slows down your computer, you can very easily close out of the file, close out of your browser, pull up the draft dashboard where you were, and you'll be all set to go. A couple things to note: you don't need to have an internet connection while you're using it. The only time that you'll need that is when you first open a file or first open the file and your data connections update, which are pulling our tiers and ADP information. But you don't even need that. If you're going to be doing the draft somewhere where you're not going to have Wi-Fi, maybe before you leave, you open up the file, let that refresh take place, you save it, you take it with you, and you're going to be fine. That most recent pull will be in the file. But so pretty much it's version control, recognizing that you're going to hit delete if you make the wrong pick, and then go in, grab the correct name. You want to sort your player info always in selected ADP, smallest to largest. You're going to want to do your tier, smallest to largest. And I think that's pretty much it. So thanks.